Marcos, I'm the CEO of Woop Environmental. We help the trades and restaurants profit more. And in the last year, not only have we been nominated for Best of the Springs in our industry, we've also added over $500,000 to our clients' businesses and profits. Today, we're going to talk about vendor negotiations, more specifically, 3 ways to win at vendor negotiations. And this is based on the tactics that have helped us negotiate for our clients. And we've gotten them deals of up to 33% off with vendors, even if the vendor is at a loss. This is how we've gotten them. Okay, the number 1 tactic, and this is the most important. Both sides have to win. Picture this, you've just gotten a big job order in. It's the biggest job you've ever come across. You do everything you usually would, and you put all of you guys onto this job, and you do a really good job. Turns out though, the client charged back their deposit and is not going to pay. Would you take that job? Probably not, because the client wins, but you don't. Now, let's say that this client doesn't pay for that job, but they get you 3 more jobs like it that do pay you completely. Now, would you take it? Maybe, let's say they get 5, 10 more jobs like it. Now, would you do that 1 free job if you knew you had everything else? You probably get, that person gets a free job and you get way more jobs. That's an example of both sides winning. And that's what you need to determine with your vendor. How do you get that free job done on your house or whatever? And how do they get those 10 jobs just like it that are paying? You need to figure out what the wins are. But the most important thing is that both sides have to win. I'm gonna go over a few different wins for vendors that we've used to negotiate. This is what we've given the vendor in order to get whatever we ask in return. Now, something important is that it doesn't have to be the exact same value, what we ask for versus what we give, but it has to be perceived that way. So there are times where you will get way more than what you had to put on the table because to the vendor, it's of equal value. And there's some other times in which you have to give up much more than you receive. And this is much more common with the bigger business. All right, here is the most effective win for the vendor that we've ever offered, and that is bring more customers to them. So what's made us super strong at negotiations is that we will group clients that use those same vendors and we negotiate for all of them at once. So now we have much more leverage when it comes to the total order volume. This is what you can achieve by bringing your friends or competitors. Think about it this way. Your competitor beats you out on a specific project. They purchase materials for that. And now that makes your material costs lower. Every job you lose out to your competitors is still helping you. So this is a massive, massive tool to get a win out of a loss when it comes to getting a specific job. Now, for the vendor, they will give you pretty much anything you want. If you can bring way more clients to them, they're gonna be happy about it. So this is by far the most impactful. Try to find a few people in your industry and bring them to them. If you get your competitors a huge deal on something, they will have your back. If they can't take care of a specific job, you're gonna get that job. Highly recommend that you try this out. Tactic is exclusivity. You agree with your vendor to only use them for a certain amount of time, for a certain order type, for a certain material, a certain ingredient, whatever it is, you commit to exclusively using them on something. This works well, especially if you're in a very competitive industry. If there's a lot of vendors competing for your purchases, this is great. You can get quite a bit out of it. It works very well in restaurants. There's so many food distributors and they probably will agree with you as long as the amount of orders that you will do is sufficiently large enough. Now, you can pair this up with bringing your friends. So you bring them 5 more people alongside you and all 6 of you guys are gonna be exclusive to them. You're gonna get an amazing deal. So that's the thing, you can combine these and the more of them you combine, the more you can get. Exclusivity is one of those ways that you can give your vendor a win and get in return whatever you ask for. Finally, and this kind of goes with exclusivity, but it's the long-term relationships where you commit to purchasing from them for a certain amount of time. This doesn't mean that you're only gonna purchase from them. It just means that you will purchase from them X quantity for a certain amount of time. This is really good if you're negotiating for a set pricing, especially if you're in an industry where price goes all over the place. You can combine all of these. Again, the more you give your vendor, the more you can ask in return. There's many other ways you can think of. The key really is to find how can your vendor win in a way that also helps you win. So find everything that you can to help your vendor and then ask for exactly what they can do to help you. That's the really important thing, is that you make it easy for them to help you, not only by you helping them, but by asking for exactly what you need and making what you ask for realistic, which is exactly what we're gonna get into. What do you ask for? What do you focus on? What should we do when it's time for them to return the favor? Well, here's the thing. It's not all about the price. Imagine you're playing a game of basketball and the only thing you do is go for half-court shots. Are you gonna win that game? Or are you gonna win many games if you use that strategy across multiple? Probably not. Why is that? Half-court shot, that's 3 points, right? You get quite a bit of points when you nail one of those. I mean, in terms of excitement, that's a huge one, right? The crowd's gonna go crazy, all of that. But here's the problem with that. You're not gonna get half-court shots in that often. Whereas if you go for three-pointers, you go for layups, you go for shots that have a much higher percentage than a half-court shot, you're gonna get a lot more points. And vendor negotiations are the same way. Pricing is kind of like that half-court shot, where if you hit it, it's absolutely amazing and it's an incredible opportunity. You've done great. That's going in the highlight. The problem is that you can't get price every time. So there's two main issues when it comes to price negotiations. Number one is that the company you're working with is too big. So this does two things. One, you're talking to a sales rep that might not have much control over pricing. They can only go to X amount. Two, it's a bigger company, so they're very strict on their margins. So they're not gonna let you go out of them. So that's one issue with pricing. Now, if you're working with a smaller vendor, we have another issue with pricing, is that they will price themselves down out of business. I have seen businesses offer deals where they're at a loss just to get more volume and they don't notice it. That's the two things, is that sometimes the economics of their business don't allow for the price to go any lower. Or the rules of the business and the rules applied to the person that you're negotiating with don't allow them to drop the price. So if you only go for the half-court shots, you're missing out on all the other shots that you could be hitting that give you points. Now, what are other things that you can negotiate for? You can negotiate for delivery options. This is huge. This is a massive time saver. You are getting savings because now you don't have to drive to pick up this. This is huge, especially if you can get on-site delivery. You can change the interval of deliveries. You can negotiate, hey, can we pay a deposit? And then once the client pays in full, then we pay everything else. And this frees up a lot of how you price your service to your clients. So that's the thing, is you can negotiate on much more than just the price. In those areas, it's a lot easier for the vendor to be flexible. For example, we negotiated a deal with a company that sold products that you have to choose out, right? There's some stylistic elements of the products that you have to choose out. So we did actually get a pretty big price discount on it. But additionally, we negotiated to have the company go out to the clients and help the clients choose which product they wanted. So now we get that extra little service, that added layer that's really valuable on top of the price decrease, is you don't have to just negotiate on price. There's a lot of different areas that you can win from your vendor. Figure out, hey, if your vendor was perfect, how would they look? What would perfect service, perfect product selection, perfect everything look? It would be a whole lot more than price that would make your vendor perfect. So look at everything and ask for those things. If you don't ask for it, your vendor's not gonna think about it. And then finally, but this kind of depends on your ability to negotiate and how the relationship is asking in small steps. If you're brand new to using that vendor, I wouldn't ask for something crazy. I would do it in small steps. The more you shop with a vendor, the more leverage you have on them. My recommendation is, if you're brand new to a vendor and you don't have much leverage or a relationship with them, take it in small steps. Ask for something little and give quite a bit in return. Once you've developed that relationship, that you give them a ton and you don't ask for much, you can step up how much you ask for, because they'll know, hey, you've given us a ton in the past, you're a great client, you've brought us even more clients, so absolutely, we're gonna help you out where you need it. Those are the three main tactics. What matters the most is that you are precise at what you need from them and you make it easy for them to give it to you. You do that by being precise at what you ask, by making it attainable, and then finally, by giving them something in return. Both sides have to win. If they're not winning, eventually you're not gonna win, because they'll be out of business or they'll just stop having a deal with you. So that's 3 tactics to negotiate better. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you want even more ways to negotiate better and all of our tactics on negotiating, you can get that by going over to our website and going to whoopenvironmental.com/negotiate. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more content to help you profit more, and it's all free here on YouTube. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.